Okay, let's see if I can remove this side. Um, there we go. That's kind of what I want to do. Just want to make sure it clicks and works, and then we're good to go. Perfect. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to this week's live call. We're going to be talking about why motivation always disappears and why driven men feel that they lack motivation. Because do we actually lack motivation, or are we just kind of frustrated at how that cycle constantly goes? And I'm just going to really just jump into this today. So I need to get to my slides right here. All right. So the real problem is that motivation feels unreliable. We start strong, we go after those goals, and then we lose momentum. Now, this isn't because of laziness. This isn't because of, anything that you've done. It's a pattern that we've created in this life. And most men live inside this loop for absolute years. And it's the restart cycle begins again and again and again. And we want to make sure that when we're creating that outcome, when we're going after those goals that we want, that we create enough momentum within ourselves so that we can hit the goals that we want. And motivation isn't the say be all end all, because we lack motivation once in a while. And I will get into that in a second here. The big misbelief. This is what most people misbelieve in our lives. I just need more motivation. I just need to, push myself a little bit more. But when motivation is treated like a fuel, motivation is more like a response, right? You don't generate motivation on command, because if your system requires motivation to work, that means your system is broken. I think I have that right here. If your system requires motivation to work, your system is broken. And my friend, when we have that broken system, we don't allow ourselves to move into certain areas. We don't allow ourselves to build that life that we truly want, because we're like, I'm unmotivated. I don't have the energy. I can't do the things I want to do. So what we have to do is we have to begin to have a different execution method. So the heart controls this execution. Your emotion to your action, or your emotion equals your action, not logic equals action, right? And this is how that life operating system framework works. Oftentimes our head, our mindset, we think about, we know what to do. We know where we want to go. We know what we want to create in our lives. But then the heart has to decide to do it. And then your body will execute it. Now, if the heart and the mind aren't working together, you're going to fail. Because you don't fail because you don't know what to do. You fail because your emotional state shifts into, I just don't feel like it today. I don't want to do this. I'm not excited enough to create this in my life. And that's when this begins to fail. So what's really happening in your mindset when you're unmotivated, right? When your emotion drops, your action drops. You just don't feel like doing anything more. You're tired. You've tried different things to go after the goals that you want. You have that energy, and then stress hits, and then pressure hits, and then your mood's like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this anymore. And that's when life truly hits. So we have to learn that it's not about motivation. It's about being ready. It's about going after the goals. It's about doing the things that you truly want to do. Because, my friend, you're not weak. You're not weak because of the things that you're going through, you're weak. No, you're just not creating the right outcomes. And it's because, and I'll go through this little collapse point now, it's that you don't lose motivation, it's that you lose that emotional control. So when pressure hits, when you go after the goals, you're like, so let's go back to a point. You're excited, you're motivated, you've achieved the things that you want to go after, and then you're like, life hits. Maybe something happened at home, maybe something happened at work, maybe something happened from your family, that pressure is built up. Maybe you got tired, because in life, when you're going after goals, you're running on a treadmill over and over and over again, and you just feel exhausted. So you get tired, and then that pressure hits. And then that creates this emotional stability, which causes it to go down. You're like, I'm not in control. I don't feel motivated enough to do this. I don't want to hit those goals. I don't want to, I'm done. I'm done going after this. And it's because that motivation, that emotional stability drops. So then your motivation drops, and then your just action stops. And what do we do as driven men? We do a restart. But you don't lack that motivation, my friend. You lack that emotional stability. And today I want to show you how to build that. I want to show you how to build that stability. Because when we build that emotion and we're ready and we stabilize that action, you don't chase that emotion. Let's see if it's this one. So here's the framework that I want to go over today. And it should be really quick, because where is it? Right there. Because when we create this and when we understand what we're going through and building the life that we want, you're going to create the outcome. So the first framework is to catch it. So notice that emotional drop, right? When the earlier you notice it, the easier it's going to be to hit that outcome. So once you notice it, you want to regulate it. You want to regulate yourself. So you want to take a breath. You want to pause. You want to reset that state to be ready to go after that goal that you're going after. And then finally, you execute. So when you're going after those big goals, you want to make sure that you're executing on the smallest version of that task. What is that smallest thing you can do, regardless of what you feel like? The other day, I've created an outcome for myself, or goals for myself, where I do calisthenics and yoga, and I'm trying to work out in the morning. And the other day, I just did not feel like it. I'm like, I just don't feel it. I don't have the motivation to do this. So instead of me doing a 15, 20-minute yoga workout, I was like, I just do 5 minutes of stretching. So I still did something in regards to that task, but it was very minimal, and I didn't need motivated to do it, because these small actions survive unstable emotions. And when you can create those small actions, and when you can create that life that you're going after, that's when it's going to work out. So I want to do this live awareness drill right now with you, because when you do these things, it's going to create the life you're looking for. And what this is going to do is it's going to build that awareness. It's going to build that awareness of where you kind of fell off that motivation train and how to build it up. Because awareness, my friend, is control. So write down these questions and give yourself space today to answer them. So when did my motivation drop today? What emotion was I feeling? And what did I avoid? So what was that task that you didn't feel like doing? And why didn't you feel like doing it? And when did it happen? Very simple. And that brings awareness into that phase or that area of your life. Because, my friend, you don't need more motivation. Motivation is not what we need. I just need to be more motivated. No, you don't. You need to have a stable internal system. And when you have that stable internal system, that's when you can create those goals, that outcome, that life that you're going after. How do we do that? Well, I wanted to offer you this free course, and I will put the link right here so that you can get this free course at your own time, at your own space. And I called it the End the Restart Cycle. So you're done restarting. There's a couple workbooks in there that you also get, and it's included. So sign up, hit that link, and gain the instant access today. Because, my friend, we hit a point here when we're done going over and over and over again. We hit that motivation spike, and it's not about that. You have to build this instability under pressure so that when those pressure times come, you're not falling off. So I hope this helped those that were on today. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Take time, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next week, which will be on, I believe, on Monday again, but it might be in the evening, and that will help. But I will post it. I'll pre-post it on here. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your day.